What is air pollution? Air pollution may be defined as any atmospheric condition in which certain substances are present in such concentrations that they can produce undesirable effects on man and his environment. These substances include gases, SOx, NOx, CO, HCs, etc., particulate matter, smoke, dust, fumes, aerosols, radioactive materials, and many others. Most of these substances are naturally present in the atmosphere in low, background concentrations and are usually considered to be harmless. The background concentrations of various components of dry air near sea level and their estimated residence times are given in Annex 1. Thus, a particular substance can be considered as an air pollutant only when its concentration is relatively high compared with the background value and causes adverse effects. Air pollution is a problem of obvious importance in most of the world that affects human, plant, and animal health. For example, there is good evidence that the health of 900 million urban people suffers daily because of high levels of ambient air sulfur dioxide concentrations. Air pollution is one of the most serious environmental problems in societies at all levels of economic development. Air pollution can also affect the properties of materials, such as rubber, visibility, and the quality of life in general. Industrial development has been associated with emission to air of large quantities of gaseous and particulate emissions from both industrial production and from burning fossil fuels for energy and transportation. When technology was introduced to control air pollution by reducing emissions of particles, it was found that the gaseous emissions continued and caused problems of their own. Currently, efforts to control both particulate and gaseous emissions have been partially successful in much of the developed world. But there is recent evidence that air pollution is a health risk even under these relatively favorable conditions. In societies that are rapidly developing, sufficient resources may not be invested in air pollution control because of other economic and social priorities. The rapid expansion of the industry in these countries has occurred at the same time as increasing traffic from automobiles and trucks, increasing demands for power for the home, and concentration of the population in large urban areas called megacities. The result has been some of the worst air pollution problem in the world. In many traditional societies and societies where crude household energy sources are widely available, air pollution is a serious problem because of inefficient and smoky fuels used to heat buildings and cook. This causes air pollution both outdoor and indoors. The result can be lung disease, eye problems, and increased risk of cancer. The quality of air indoors is a problem also in many developed countries because buildings were built to be airtight and energy efficient. Chemicals produced by heating and cooling systems, smoking and evaporation from buildings materials accumulate indoors and create a pollution problem. In Ethiopia, like many traditional societies, the problem of indoors air pollutions resulted from inefficient and smoky fuels used to heat buildings and cook. In the rural households of Ethiopia, most of the children and women are staying in overcrowded condition of a one-roomed, thatched roof, too-cool house that exposed them for the indoor air pollution. It is also known that mothers and children are spending more than 75% of their daytime at home. Identification of the problems of both at outdoors and indoors air pollutions in the societies. One has to make interventions to alleviate the health-related problems and promote safe ventilation of air in the living and working areas. First, however, some basic science. 3. Historical overview. Humans have undoubtedly been coping with a certain amount of polluted air ever since primitive Homo sapiens sat crouched by the warmth of a smoky fire in his Paleolithic cave. An inevitable consequence of fuel combustion, air pollution mounted as a source of human discomfort as soon as man begins to live in towns and cities. It has become an extremely serious problem on the worldwide basis during the past century for two primarily reasons. 1. There has been an enormous increase in world population, particularly in urban areas, and 2. The rapid growth of energy-intensive industries and rising level of affluence in the developed countries has led to record levels of fossil fuel combustion. Prior to the 20th century, problems related to air pollution were primarily associated, in public mind at least, with City of London. As early as 18th century, small amount of coal from Newcastle were being shipped in London for fuel. As the population and the manufacturing enterprises grew, wood,